Welcome back, college baseball fans of the college baseball show. We got another fun Coach's Corner episode here, brought to you by Just Baseball Media. I'm Mark Garland. I've got Jared Perkins with me today, and then we've got the great Coach Nick Mingione from Kentucky. How we doing today, Coach?
Oh, great. Especially looking over your head there and seeing that UK cap. You got you. Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it made the wall.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, you got it in Zoom the right way too. So thank you for that. But doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, happy to have you on, Coach. I know that both of us got to talk to you last year, different podcasts, and now we got you on the same podcast here for the College Baseball Show. Talk just a little bit about the fall ball, man. I know you guys have had a lot going on. Exciting to go into this season here.
Yeah, busy fall. A lot of times I get the question a lot, like, so coach, now that it's kind of not your season, it's your downtime, like, what's the fall look like? And I'm like, oh my God, like, where do I start? And, sometimes I tell college baseball fans and people that they don't really know this, but in a lot of ways, the fall is, you can argue, our busiest time. Because we have our current team, we're trying to lay the foundation of our program for the spring of what's to come. You're trying to acclimate, whether you have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, whatever it is, new players into your program. If you've had new staff, you hire new staff, and you're trying to get all them right, and you're trying to lay the foundation. Well, on top of that, we're off-campus recruiting. We're having recruits on the phone. August 1st, you can talk to juniors. You're doing that. Then September 1st, they can visit. So now you're doing visits, and you're doing your team, and you're trying to do scrimmages, and you're trying to have this kid and talk to this parent, and it is like, whoo. Like, we get to the end of October when we finish our team practice phase, I'm like, man, guys, I needed that. Like, so busy fall. From that standpoint, recruiting went exceptionally well. We're super excited about that. And, our current team we bring totally different than a year ago. This time, felt like we had to replace almost an entire roster after the Omaha run. And this year we were able to bring back, quite a few amount of guys, and trying to acclimate. So between the high school freshmen and the transfers, super productive fall. A lot of guys went through some hard times, whether it be on the field, off the field, or whatever. And I always say, like, those are opportunities for growth. So, but one thing I do know about our team as we wrap up, we just wrapped up classes yesterday, getting ready to go into finals, is our team, again, for us to be great, like, we have to be a connected team. And I feel good about where we're at with that.
I love it, Coach. And you talked about, like, developing that connected team, right? With the transfer portal, with the rosters kind of changing. Like, rosters changed all the time before the transfer portal, but now it's just kind of exasperated quite a bit. What do you do, or what are some of the things you kind of put into place during the fall, during the opportunities before the season starts, to really develop that connectedness?
Yeah, good question. Well, Jared, like, first of all, you got to learn everybody's name.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, we have 40 guys on our roster, and you got to learn each other's names. And that is way easier for the guy that's been in the program, because he's only got to learn the new guys. But the new guy coming in, and a lot of them have developed relationships prior, don't get me wrong, right? So they kind of know. But you got to learn each other's name. That's the first part. And then you got to know their last name. Then you got to know what position they play. And then you got to know a fun fact about them. And you got to know what their favorite is. And so we put all these things in place as the fall goes on at, different times, whether it be after practice or after a lift or whatever, to where we just kind of get to know each other. And one of the things I've realized, and you guys know this, but there's two things in life that you can never get back. And that's your time and your words. We can't get those back. So how we choose to spend our time and the words that we say are super valuable. So we've been intentional about, that's the building foundation block, all the way into us spending an entire night together and learning each other and setting up games and different things and just spending time with each other. And, we have the team at my house, my wife and I, and, they hang out with all of our kids and our family's kids. And so we do all these things to connect each other. We swim together. We have a whole list of things that we do, because I often say that the strength of our team is our team, and you have to work on your team. And we do that in a lot of different ways. I think I just peeled off 5 or 6 ways. Yeah.
I love it.
It's fair, Coach. I know you and I talked last year about practice time, and that we'd love more practice time. You being a former coach, you currently coaching. NCAA granted the wish. They gave you a little bit more practice time starting in January. How's that feel to know, hey, we got a little bit more time to get ready? And I know we'd like more, but it's a little bit better this year, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, and for our listeners that weren't aware, I mean, when they first got back for the first couple of weeks, we would have them for 8 hours a week, where we
Yep.
can spend 4 hours on the field or in a classroom, whatever we choose, and then 4 hours of strength and conditioning. And that's for the whole week. Well, now we get to go right into our team phase where we get them 20 hours. So that's
Yep.
between practice time and strength and conditioning time. We get them for 20. So that's a significant more time. That's a significant amount of more time. And so, one of the things I had to meet with our strength coach and our trainer just to, because we can't do that prior to them getting here. So the things they're doing on their own now, as you know, Mark, it's like super important because sometimes when you're not in that competitive environment, you maybe don't push yourself as much. And the guys are going to work hard. Every team in our league, the players work hard. It always cracks me up when parents say, my kid is the hardest worker. And I'm just like, yeah, they all work hard. They wouldn't be in the SEC, right?
Yeah.
But making sure that they're prepared physically, because if you jump right into it and get in 20 hours, their bodies, it's a lot. It's a lot of, time, effort, and energy on their bodies. So making sure that they're going to be able to handle that workload. And then for us to be able to get right into it and, spend the extra time, especially for us, the style of play we play. We pitch, we throw a ton of strikes, we attack hitters at what we perceive as their weaknesses, our pitchers' strengths, and we go at guys. So when we do that, we're going to hopefully have a lot more balls in play. Our defense has got to be able to make plays. Our system offensively, this, it's a whatever it take types of offense. So that means if that means the game's demanding an extra base hit or hitting a bomb, I love a bomb. We'll do it. We'll also lay down a bunt and steal a base and go extra bases. So a lot of that takes a lot of time and effort, and there's a lot of details you got to get right. So for me, I personally love it because it gives us more time to kind of sharpen those skills.
I love it. Coach, you talked a little bit about the transfer portal class you got in. According to 64 Analytics, you had a top 10 portal class. You had guys like Connor Madison in from Grand Canyon, Tyler Cerny, Indiana, guy I loved. I watched him a couple times when they came out and played Maryland. Jack Bennett from Western Kentucky, and a whole other list of guys. Talk about what you've seen this fall from some of those guys.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say about that is, for the guys in the transfer portal, a lot of them, like Cerny, he cracked me up. He made me laugh because he's like, Coach, he's like, I've had to relearn how to take my lead at every base. I've had to relearn like how to steal. I've been doing it one way for 3 years and now I'm doing it. But, to his credit, he's like, Coach, you guys did a great job of explaining how that goes. And, kind of made me feel good about the avenue and the way we went, because there's a lot that goes into it. Right. So, those guys you had mentioned, Connor Madison, I'll hit on the guys you mentioned. I can definitely talk about more if you want, but, Connor, super talented right-hand pitcher, had an amazing freshman year, had an okay, sophomore year, battled some injuries and things like that. So working his way, getting back to full strength. Cerny had a fantastic fall. Especially defensively. We played him predominantly at third. He's played short and second his entire career. Got him a ton of reps there. Did well with that. Who was the other guy you mentioned? I'm sorry, I should have wrote it down.
Jack Bennett.
Jack brings a ton of experience, earned a ton of respect from our players. Had a really difficult class schedule. When a guy like him that's been in college baseball transfers in, sometimes it's hard to make the classes work, and you're in those upper level classes and there's no other option. So had a very difficult class schedule, literally made the most of it. His consistency, his discipline, the guys love him. They rated him super high on our evaluations. And a guy that just brings a ton of experience and maturity that has done it a lot of different ways. So 3 of our great transfers.
Yeah. Coach, when we look at that, we look at great teams and teams that continue to perform at the highest level. They always have the same quality of leadership. They have the next class of leadership comes in, it's taught by the previous class. Talk just a little bit about how you guys go about this, because it seems like every year you guys have these great leaders that in turn teach that next group that comes in.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that. And I like, if you said to me, like, Nick, give me one of the top 5 best things you could say about your program, it would be one that we produce leaders. And the reason why that's so important to me is because as coaches, we have a tremendous responsibility. And you guys know, you played, right? Like, it doesn't matter what sport, whether it's baseball, football, coaches, we have an unbelievable opportunity to have influence on people. So for us, we define what leadership is. And I learned it from John Maxwell. And he basically says leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And we want our guys to have influence on each other, on our coaches, all of that. So Ethan Hindle is a guy that has just shown tremendous leadership, has had tremendous influence on our team. Now, he's also one of 3 guys that we still have left that made it to Omaha.
Yeah.
Right. So we only have 3, which is kind of crazy, right? Like we've graduated and had a ton of guys drafted.
Yeah.
So he's done awesome. Ben Cleaver's done a great job on the pitching side of just being that leader and that voice. And we've had others, but those 2 guys have just done an exceptional job. Just really trying to take the reins. And we've had other guys like Tyler Bell and Luke Lawrence, and we've had other guys that have stepped up, like Jack, and some of these other guys have led well, but Ethan Hindle and Ben Cleaver have been fantastic.
Yeah.
That was one guy I was going to hit on too, because I think last time we talked, Tyler Bell was just coming to campus and being a freshman, and we covered the draft, and Tyler Jennings, who runs our draft side, we were like, we can't believe this guy got to campus. And then I want to talk about a little about him and kind of just the incredible player and like what he means to your team.
Oh man. I mean, it is, a lot of times people talk about how difficult it is for freshmen to play in the Southeastern Conference. And there's truth to that, right? But the best players are going to play. And we got to the end of the year and we were starting a freshman on Friday nights. We had a freshman starting in right field. We had a freshman in Tyler Bell that literally started every game.
Yeah.
And besides one, and he was in the regional, I had to hold him out because he hit a ball off his knee and he was like begging me to get in there. And I'm like, no, like your health is more important to me than any baseball game. Like, but would have started every game if it was up to him. But just an amazing, amazing talent. And his competitive nature, his makeup from that standpoint, Tyler's shown great leadership. Tyler's not afraid to have the hard conversation. He pushes guys. Like he is the guy that's not afraid to have the hard conversation. And he'll tell our players not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. And that's hard for an 18 to 24-year-old, let alone a sophomore in college. And Tyler has done that and will do that. But his ability, I mean, you go through the 5 tools between the run, the hit, the field, the throw, the power, and his makeup, a special player. And we're definitely lucky to have him.
Yeah, coach. And I think that's the one thing I'm excited to see you all this year, because you kind of talked about the freshmen now all becoming sophomores. And I don't think like maybe the more casual fan realizes like how important that is. That they've gone through the gauntlet of the SEC. They now have that experience under the belt. And like just to be able to see what they're going to do in their sophomore season, I think it's going to be an exciting season.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And, that's the beauty of what we get to do.
Yeah.
Like I remind our staff, I'm like, hey, guys, like the players are allowed to get better. And I don't know about you guys, but when I do something for a second time, I hope I'm better at it. If not, I probably like to rethink what I'm doing, but he's gotten better. And some of these other guys have gotten better. And so, guys like Ryan Schwartz and Nate Harris, these were other guys that just got tremendous amounts of experience. And to have them back in, to have their experience, not only the way they carry themselves but they know what the standard is and they're able to withhold the standard.
Yeah, it makes a big difference when you got a team that comes back with guys that have that experience, especially SEC. And talking about SEC, it's the best college baseball conference. It's the top. We're not going to argue any of that. There's no difference there. There's no way to make an argument other ways. But talk about the fans that have shown up. I mean, this growth of this game just continues to impress, Coach. Over the last 5 years, College World Series numbers have gone through the roof. Overall, fans going to ball games have been through the roof. You guys have seen the growth, especially at home.
Yeah, I have a really cool story. We were down in Baton Rouge 2 years ago for the Super, and it was that game where there was a long delay. Neither coach wanted us, Jay or myself, wanted to start the game because the storm's coming. It's supposed to come. It's not going to come. There's lightning. It was like, he ain't getting Superman. That's Paul Skeens. He wasn't going to get Superman loose, and I wasn't going to get our guy, Zach Lee, ready at the time. So, the game, whatever. But coming down them steps at Alex Box, here comes Skip Bertman. And he comes down and he leads over the dugout. And I don't want to even attempt to do his voice, but when you hear him talk, the raspberry. And he says to me, how'd you do it? And I'm like, how'd I do what? He's like, I saw 7,000 people at a Kentucky baseball game. How'd you do it? What did you do? And I was like, what did I do? I'm like, you see this intimidator with all these national championships? I'm like, what did you do? I should be asking you. And we went on to talk about, the crowds and the people and college baseball. And I thanked him. I said, you and Ron Polk and Keith Madison, and you guys helped make SEC baseball important. And you guys decided a long time ago that it was going to be important and that you were going to pour into it and you were going to go out in your communities and you were going to have all these different things. And I was just like the same way. So I'm like, I'm sure I did what you did. And I told him about all the speaking engagements and the camps and interacting with the kids and having them on our field. And he was just like, that's how you do it. That's what I did. And I was like, man, as a coach, I was like, I did what? Wow, this is great. And, I've been mentored for 25 years by Keith Madison. I mean, not for 10 years, our head coach of 25 years. He's been doing it for 10 years. He's like, helps me. And so we've had a lot, but the game has grown, our league has grown, and Kentucky has grown.
Yeah. No, I love it. And Coach, I was going to talk a little bit about the 2026 schedule you all have. You talked about kind of the returners, the transfer portal class, your incoming freshman class. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to most with this schedule and kind of just getting to see this team out on the field?
Yeah, I love playing good teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go back and you look over the last 3 to 5 years, our strength of schedule, I mean, I just love playing good teams. Now, it's gotten harder and harder with the transfer portal to predict who's going to be good that year.
Yeah.
Right? That was easier. And I hope you appreciate my transparency here. That was easier to do prior to the transfer portal being so active, I guess, or influential, because you would be able to look and you can just see, well, now there's some times where it's just like, man, they're a team. They were unbelievable. They should have guys back. Well, now they're playing in our league. Right. And it's like, man, so I say all that because I love this schedule.
Yeah.
And I really believe that our opponents, our 4 non-conference weekends between UNC Greensboro, Evansville, St. John's, I mean, we just added a fourth one. It is just like, this is a legit schedule. And if we do our job and we play well and we're able to win some games, I really feel like I feel good about what our RPI could look like. But an extremely difficult schedule. And then you mix in all of our non-conference opponents, and of course the league schedule. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, Coach, tough schedules every year in the SEC. We know that. And then you guys go out and schedule that non-conference schedule, get yourself set up. Do you think, as every coach basically has to do now, you got to think about RPI years in advance and trying to set yourself up. It's gotten harder with the transfer portal, but is that something you guys really dwell on when you guys set up those games?
Yeah, it's the number one thing I think about. It's the number one thing I think about is, who do we add and how is that going to help us with our RPI? It's the bottom line. Yeah. And then, of course, you got to win, right? And I tell our team this. I look at our schedule, and I'm confident that any team on this schedule can beat us. I'm 100% confident. Now, we could beat any team on the schedule as well, but we can be beaten by every single team on this schedule if we don't do and play the way we're supposed to. So I just love playing really good teams.
I love it. Coach, I wanted to kind of shift gears here, talk about some of the former guys you've coached. I always like to go through the stories of the guys who used to play in college baseball. And we have a pro side, so I figure like I should give these guys some love on the pro side as well. But one guy I wanted to talk about, this guy we had on the podcast when we did our draft podcast, Ryan Waldschmidt. The numbers he put up last year in AA and then were just absolutely insane. I think he had a 892 OPS, at 18 home runs, 78 RBIs, just 29 stolen. Like, it was just insane. This is a guy that we always talked about that people were just sleeping on because of the injury and that he came back and played a little bit later. And just to see what he's been able to do and just the mindset that he always brought, even when he was just doing the interviews. Just want to talk about like what it was like to coach that kid and then kind of what you've seen from him nowadays, a transition to pro ball.
Yeah, special guy. I have a wall in my office. Actually, I could show you. This is my wall right here with my 28 big leaguers that I've had the opportunity to coach that I'm like super proud of. I'm like proud of these guys. And there's no question in my mind that he's going to end up on this wall. Yeah. But I have this saying that you learn a lot about somebody by the way they act when things don't go their way. You learn a lot about somebody by the way they act when things don't go their way. So he's up in the Cape. He tears his ACL, making a throw in the outfield. Important summer. It's a draft year summer. So he's going to be out and gets the word that, hey, The earliest we ever let anybody back is 10 months from ACL. So he's like, I'm going to be back in 10 months. Like, if I can do 9.5, the doctor's like, no, 10 months. He's like, well, I'll be released in 10 months. So he literally, guys, this guy comes to Lexington, works his butt off. What did he do all fall? For every scrimmage, he sat there with a clipboard and charted pitches, whether it be like literally, when I tell you, there was times where he charted every pitch of the scrimmage. Now, quality at bat chart was right next to our hitting coach, like right there. So most people get, 3 to 5 at bats a scrimmage, right? He got 40 because he was in everybody's at bat.
Every single one.
Every at bat, every day. The most positive, showed up in the training room. He told our team, I'll never forget this. He talked about not viewing your teammates as competitors. You compete against them in practice, but you don't compare yourself to them, and don't get bitter towards them. Get better if you don't like the way that you're playing. Like, he had this unbelievable, did that all fall, did everything he could, literally sat there, tracked pitches, did whatever. Well, we get to the spring, he turned himself in the first rounder, and most people are like, that's impossible. He never filled out a questionnaire, to my knowledge, at a high school or prior, turned himself but he did that. Ryan Waldschmidt, the dude's heart is unbelievable. But you learn a lot about somebody by the way they act when things don't go their way. And what he did, not only for himself, but for the team, when he was hurt, he made everybody better. So am I surprised? Nope, not one bit. And I can't wait to go watch him in the big leagues and have Reeves sitting there watching him cheering on Waldy because it's happening.
I love it.
Love it. Yeah, Coach. One of the things that I look at most when I go and visit all these schools and see what I want from the outside is schools that give back to their community and really get after it and really help out around. You guys have taken to that every year that you've been in Kentucky, and those of us that keep track of this game really can see that. I think that it adds back to your game, but what do you feel about just how much you guys give back to the community? I mean, is that something you guys really find important for your team?
Yeah, Mark, that's a great question because we talk all the time about developing our guys as a student, a person, and a player. And to wear this Kentucky on our chest, that's a big deal. And this is our flagship university of our state. And when you put on that Kentucky jersey, you are responsible to give back. So our players, by the time we get to Christmas break, they would have given back over 200 hours of community service back to this city or to their hometowns. 200. So I always say this, when you give back, it's rocket fuel. When you do community service, whether you serve somebody, it is rocket fuel and it does something for you. So we do a ton to give back. And I mean, we do things that we don't put it on social media. We don't share. I mean, if I shared with you some of the things that our guys have done for some kids personally in this community, you'd be like, Coach, that's awesome. But they're giving back and they're growing. And that's super important to me.
Yeah, I mean, we hear things. I know I hear things. And that's why I say, I want to make sure I highlight teams that are doing the right things. And I think you guys are doing the right things, especially in your community. And I think it's been tremendous for what you guys have done as a baseball team, too. It just adds to everything else around you.
Yeah, and it's part of their growth. I always tell our recruits and their families, we're the last consistent group of men in their life, and so we want to make sure that they understand the importance of serving and giving back. And there's a lot of people that want to put that jersey on like them, so they got to give back, and they've done awesome. I mean, we've packed. Yeah, I don't want to get into it, but because I want to be humble about it, but the things I'm confident we have impacted thousands of people, and especially kids.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. We usually wrap up with some fun questions. Mark, you want to kick those off?
Okay, Coach. If it wasn't baseball, all of us here, crazy steam heads, we love baseball. What would it have been?
If it wasn't baseball.
If it wasn't baseball, yeah.
Guys, I don't know. What would I have wanted, or where do I think it would have went? Something with fishing. I love the fish.
All right.
Maybe a fishing guide. That's, I would never do that now. I don't want to say never, but I wouldn't do that now. If it wasn't for baseball, I would do something else. But maybe I would, because I had a passion for fishing growing up, baseball and fishing. But ultimately, my goal is I love helping people and adding value to their lives.
I love it.
good.
If you ever
That
find
was
your way
good.
out here, I'll make sure you get some. I got some fishing guide friends that we go out and.
Where you
some
at?
real
Where are
stuff.
you?
So Central Oregon, but if you make it out to any part of Oregon, I'll hook you up. I know we got you, Coach.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's one state I haven't brought my son to. We've caught a lot of fish, so in a lot of places. So, are they trout fishing? Are you trout fishing where you're at?
I trout fish here in Central Oregon, and but all over the coast. Like I got guys that do the salmon, steelhead, like guided tours. Guys that have been on Field and Stream. Like yeah.
So, all right, I'm gonna brag. Can I be the Can I be the dad that brags on his kid? Am I
Yeah,
allowed to do that?
100%.
Yes.
I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of people brag about their kids, so I figure I might as well do it. So Reeves, he loves fishing.
Yeah.
So we have a photo album, and he's caught 50 different species of fish. So he doesn't have a salmon or a steelhead. So like we're now getting to the spot where it's like we're kind of chasing certain fish. So I might hit you up.
Hit me up.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to ask you a loaded question here. So if you could go back or even forward, coach any team in any sport, what team would it be?
I would pick an indoor sport. I would pick an indoor sport. I mean, like, baseball coaches, we're part-time weathermen. Like, the rain is coming, and I'm so thankful we don't have to do a tarp, by the way. Like, my first year here at Kentucky, we had the natural surface, and we would have put the tarp on over 50 times, Yeah. But I would have done an indoor sport, and I would have said maybe a basketball coach.
Okay. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. I like these questions. These are good. These are good. You're making anything that makes me think. I appreciate these. Yeah.
So you said you like fishing. Anything else you do outside of time? I know spending family time is important for you. Anything else you guys do?
Yeah, really just spend time with Kristen and Reeves. I'm really proud of this. Kristen and I, obviously you guys do a lot of podcasts and things like that, but Kristen and I just did our first podcast together. It was for Grace Marriage. So hopefully that will maybe bless some couples and just at times imperfect marriage. And, we're not perfect. But boy, do we love one another and have we grown. So I love spending time with Kristen and Reeves. So one thing we do as parents is we value experiences over things. We value it because things break and get old, but experiences live forever. So we tried our best to give Reeves a ton of different experiences. So we're actually gonna do our first ever Disney cruise.
That's so nice.
Yeah. So, but I just want to be with them. And for me, if I have some time, which I'm gonna have a couple days here, I'm fishing. So you can find me fishing somewhere. I grew up in Southwest Florida, so I love to fish there. And but to be with Kristen and Reeves, they're my favorites. So I love being around them.
I love it. Last question I got for you. So if you had one message for the Kentucky fans going into the 26th season, what would it be?
Just to come out and support us, because this is a group of guys that they care and they understand the importance of what it means to play for Kentucky. And right now, if this semester ended, we'd have a 3.6 team GPA. They're crushing it in the classroom, crushing it in the community. And now we got to go out and perform on the field. So I just love to see our fans at our games. And they come, they show up, and you guys have seen that. But this is a team that loves Kentucky. And they're going to compete at an extremely high level. And they make a difference. So I would tell our fans that they absolutely can help us win baseball games. There's no question that's possible. So I would just encourage them to come out and support the guys.
I love it. Mark, you have any other questions?
No, that's all I had for him today. So appreciate you taking all the time, Coach, to come out and speak with us. We love all baseball, but, you guys are doing the right things. We love having you on, Coach. So we'll touch back again in the spring, and hopefully we get to see some great Kentucky baseball this year.
Man, thank you, guys. Keep up the great work. Go Cats.